Pastor Roy Gearhart from Galloway United Methodist Church in Franklin, Pennsylvania, sharing a few words of encouragement to help us follow after Jesus. Well, yesterday we were talking about generating a love list, putting together a list of people in your life and beginning to see how you connect with them. And so that we could get a more real life picture of what overflowing love means. It's got to be a bigger and more realistic picture than just water overflowing in a fountain. Even though that gives us a good image of this, it's not the reality. When you start putting names on paper, now you're starting to talk about a real situation in which you overflow with love. And as I started to work through that yesterday, I was telling you that process has made me so aware of the number of people that I relate to. The fact that I don't have the same relationship with everyone, even though in overflowing love, I might be moved to much more generously love and exercise grace toward people that are in those outer rings, even the outcasts of my life. That's one of the amazing things about the way in which God's love affects us to be overflowing in love. Again, this is not just then an exercise of our own personal generosity or kindness. It's not just a response of our affections toward other people to overflow in love. When we are overflowing in the love of Jesus, His love will move in us to overflow, not just toward the people that we already know and love, but sometimes toward people that we have no knowledge of, to love people who are strangers to us, to act toward them like though they are valued like family and friends. There are times whenever we extend ourselves as Christians in missionary service to people that we haven't even met or have met maybe only once or only seen through some remote communication. But there is an overflowing love and attachment nonetheless that comes out of that. There are times as Christians when we'll extend ourselves to a stranger that we meet along the way and show a generous level of grace and kindness, not because that's our nature, but because of the nature of God and of His love for those people that we meet, that we don't know, but God knows, that we haven't that love and attachment to personally, but God does. And God moves in us in ways that will move us to love in His love, not our own, but in His love and kindness toward that person. Another thing that God's grace and love will do, overflowing in our life, is that it will move us toward even the outcasts. Yeah, the people that we have rejected or who have rejected us. People who have hurt us, done us wrong. And God's overflowing love will move in us with grace that is like the grace that He has already exercised toward us. Remember, the Apostle Paul said to the people, I want you to overflow with love the way I overflow in love with you, for you. And that found its source in the way that God's love overflowed to the Apostle Paul, and that he knew how much grace God had shown him. And in numerous places, the apostle testifies to the fact that he was a criminal before God. He was a murderer, a person who had persecuted the church. He was someone who realized just how much God's grace had done in reaching him, showing him mercy and forgiveness, and renewing his life. Out of that source, the Lord just worked in the Apostle Paul then to overflow with love, compassion, and caring. Fact is, as I began to really look at my love list, I began to realize that for all of those people whose names I could put down, whether they were people that I was very, very close to or people that I don't see all that often and don't really talk to very frequently. And even when I look at that list and see people that I don't care for very much, that make me uptight or have hurt me in some way, there is one overriding desire that Christ fixes my heart on. And that is that I want them to know Jesus. I want them to know His love. I want them to be connected with Him. whether they are my grandchildren whom I adore and I want them more than anything to know Jesus and to be able to see them in eternity, or whether it's my enemy, someone who's hurt me, wounded me, and left me scarred. I want them to know the grace of Jesus Christ and to have a place with God forever. Well, may God bless you today. And as you share this good news, may God make you a blessing wherever He takes you.